On Election Day, voters in 4 states legalized marijuana for recreational use. Medical marijuana was already legal in California, but the passage of Proposition 64 means that the state is now poised to become the world's largest legal weed marketplace. But that marketplace has rules. Dexter Thomas went to find out who wins and who loses.
This is what corporate marijuana looks like in California. Steve D'Angelo founded Harborside Health Center in Oakland 10 years ago. It now claims to be the largest medical marijuana dispensary in the country.
So is legalization in California a victory for you then?
Legalization in California is not just a victory for me. It is in many ways the culmination of my life's work. I've been working to achieve this really for 40 years.
That victory includes entry into a market that's estimated to be worth more than $7 billion taxable dollars by the year 2020. Under California's medical marijuana laws, Harborside has to be a nonprofit organization.
And we typically have 30 or 40 different selections.
In anticipation of last week's change in the laws, D'Angelo established a private holding company last year to raise money from investors. He plans to roll Harborside into that for-profit company once the state writes its new legal marijuana laws. We met him at a farm he's building south of San Francisco.
So how big is your operation right now?
So the Harborside organization has about 200 full-time employees right now. We have 3 retail dispensaries, we have an agricultural campus, and we have an industrial campus. So we've grown quite a bit since the days when we were completely illegal and underground.
So how much revenue are you bringing in right now?
Well, our previous 12 months was $39 million, but that was before we really had our cultivation or our manufacturing in place. So we anticipated to grow very substantially over the course of the next few years. Hopefully, when we sit down again, we'll have 500 employees who have well-paying jobs with great benefits instead of 200. Eventually, we will have a national interstate market for cannabis, and when that happens, we want to make sure that we've got the best brands and the best products to introduce to the rest of the country and the rest of the world.
California's new law is also intended to drive others out of the market entirely. In the Sierra foothills north of Sacramento, we met a grower who goes by the name Trip. He agreed to do this interview only if he could wear a disguise. Instead of joining the state-approved medical marijuana industry, Trip stayed in California's black market, which supplies an estimated 70% of America's weed. And now with full legalization, he's stuck on the outside looking in, locked out of the market and still worried about getting busted.
We currently have 2 farms left out of 3 this year. One of them got raided by the local sheriffs and eradicated.
What's your biggest concern about Prop 64?
A large corporation coming in, people that have backgrounds in the agriculture industry or the tobacco industry.
You're worried about big cannabis coming in and just monopolizing the entire business, right?
That's my biggest concern.
Why don't you just become big cannabis?
Well, I don't believe that I can due to a felony possession with intent to distribute marijuana conviction. I don't think I'm allowed to apply for a license.
In fact, under the law that voters approved, state regulators can deny a license to anyone who has a prior felony marijuana conviction in states other than California. Tripp plans to keep selling on the underground market and make his money while he can. He's already getting squeezed out.
When I first got involved in the industry, it was very lucrative to transport from the West Coast to the East Coast. We would see quite a return in our investment. We could maybe buy pounds back then for $2,200 and sell them on the East Coast for $4,400 on wholesale deals. The profit has diminished because of the market has gone down.
Marijuana is still federally illegal, and businessmen like Steve D'Angelo also face legal scrutiny. He won a court fight with the Department of Justice in May, but he's still fighting a legal battle with the IRS.
So what opportunities exist now that marijuana does not have to be in this underground economy?
Well, California's legal cannabis industry now has room to grow in the 6th largest economy in the world. And that's a really important thing for us because eventually California is going to want to claim its share of the national and the international cannabis market. So we're looking at the creation of a vastly rich new industry in California, something that will be, without question, the largest cash crop in the state, but also eventually could rival Hollywood and Silicon Valley as a major driver of California's growth.